Alright, here we are. Thank you for coming to my video review of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. My name is Andrew Dunn. I'm co-host of the Media Lunch Break podcast. I have a bachelor's degree in theater and speech communications and a master's degree in acting. And I've been going through all of the Mission Impossible movies and reviewing them each one by one in a video series here on YouTube. If you haven't seen my previous reviews on the Mission Impossible movies, please go back through our YouTube channel and check those out. I mentioned in those that I had seen the first and second film in this franchise before, but only when I was a child, and now I'm going through all of them. I rewatched the first two, and I'm watching the rest of them for the first time now, going through each one, and as I watch them, I make a video review. So that's what we're doing now. I just finished 1 through 7, all the way through Dead Reckoning, and now we're about to do a review of The Final Reckoning. I just saw it in theaters last night. I got out very late. It's a long movie, and now it's time to talk about it. The way I've been doing this is I take notes during the movie. Yes, I did that in the theaters. Please don't hate me. I had my phone. There weren't that many people there. And for the video, I just go through those notes, talk about them a little bit, and discuss my feelings about it. And then when I finish those notes, we're going to talk about the movie as a whole, generally, broadly, and I'll tell you what I thought about it. Keep in mind that there are going to be spoilers for this movie, and almost certainly the movie before it, Dead Reckoning, and probably a lot of other films. Mission Impossible films. A lot of the other Mission Impossible films. If you want to see what videos we come out with after this, definitely hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. I'm, really excited about this, so if you can share it around, that'd be great. But enough chitty-chatting, let's get into the review. So actually, my notes for this start before the movie even began, because when I bought the tickets, there's like a cute little airplane thing, like the thing that tells you how many seats are taken is like a little yellow airplane. That's cute. That was on Fandango. I don't know, I was just like, okay. I had not seen many of the trailers or maybe I just didn't pay attention to them. So I was like, I don't know what this means, but I guess there's a yellow plane in the movie, and there is. Also, if you don't know, Tom Cruise was nearly Iron Man before Robert Downey Jr. By all accounts, he was cast, and then he found out he'd have to cover his face, and he was like, I don't want to do that. And they were like, it's Iron Man, he wears a mask. And he was like, well, I don't want to cover my face, so he dropped out, which I found funny because the QR code for my ticket covered his face. Anyway, I got in, I used my Tom Cruise face QR code to get into the theater. I sat down, and my very first note that I took was, man, the Smurf movie looks terrible. Because yeah, why was there a Smurf trailer before the Mission Impossible movie? Why did that happen? Why am I seeing, what? What is that? Anyway, it looks bad. And then shortly after all the trailers, 30 minutes of f***ing trailers, there's a special message from Tom Cruise thanking me, I guess, for sitting in the theater. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for saying hi. And all right, then the lights go down, the movie comes up, and here it is, the culmination of days of easy work, entertaining, relaxing work, watching all of the past movies and then going to see this one. First real note is cool opening. He gets one of those little messages the way that all these movies start. That's like, this is your mission, should you choose to accept it. But this one's from the president, Angela Bassett, who I don't think I've mentioned in any of these other movies, but she's fantastic. She's incredible, deserves an Oscar. Great work on her part. She delivers an effortless performance in all of these. But yeah, she gives her little spiel, and then as she's talking, we start to see clips from all of the past movies, because she's like, all of your missions have brought you to this point or whatever. And you know what? I got a little teary-eyed. It's a lot of stuff. It is quite a career for Tom Cruise. It's crazy to see all of the stuff that he's done over the past 30 years in these movies. And then we jump right in. He's wearing a mask, and I was like, how'd they get the mask thing to work? Because in the last movie it broke. I thought because the entity was able to connect to it and fry it, but maybe it was just a coincidence or whatever, because the entity's still around. So yeah, maybe it was just a coincidence that it fried. But yeah, because the entity is breaking everything connected to the web or whatever, they keep making a big deal out of the technology not working because it's the entity. But I guess I don't know. I don't know why a 3D mask making printer would need to connect to the internet, so maybe it didn't. I don't know. At one point, Tom Cruise is handcuffed to a chair, and he reveals that he has a fake tooth with a cyanide pill in his mouth, and the main villain in this, Gabriel, needs Tom Cruise alive. So he's bluffing, he's not gonna do it, and then Tom Cruise bites it and his mouth starts to foam, and Gabriel's like, give him medical attention, undo the things or whatever. And so they undo the chains. Little did they know, it was just Alka-Seltzer, because he's an old man. That's why he was foaming. That's my little joke. But basically, yeah, that's true. It clearly wasn't an actual cyanide capsule. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was Alka-Seltzer. And you can tell Tom Cruise is getting old because they don't show the fights as much anymore. They just showed Haley Atwell going, as Tom Cruise is fighting a bunch of people in the background. By background, I mean behind the camera. We can't see anything that's happening. We hear stuff, but we don't get to see the fight, which is kind of unfortunate, disappointing. And yeah, I made that joke about you can tell he's getting old. I wonder if it's because he can't do the fights anymore and they don't want to, they made this big deal about how he does his own stunts. They don't want to put in a stunt man, I don't know. And then after that, there's this weird joke right before the opening credits that takes too long, is awkward and strange, where Haley Atwell is like in shock after watching him completely massacre these people. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. They were bad people. Come on, we gotta go. They're, whatever. But it takes a really long time and the bad guy is getting away. And I'm like, what is this? What's going on here?
Grace. Huh? Oh, hey, you don't think that I would have let them... Grace, I would never let anything happen to you. Nothing serious. I mean... Oh. What? I mean... They were gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Hey, you did great, by the way.
But whatever. They make a big point of being like, this entity is gonna be able to take control of everything connected to the internet in 4 days. And I'm like, so turn off the internet now. Just turn it off until you figure out what to do, right? Like, they keep saying stuff like, all cyberspace will be destroyed. So fucking what? Start over. Destroy the entity and turn it the fuck back on again. Just shut the internet off. There's probably a big fucking switch. Shut it off, kill the entity, and then flip the switch back on again. How fucking hard could it be? Because yeah, if the entity takes control of everything connected to the internet in 4 days, that includes the nukes in the entire world, I guess. And it's also planning on like firing all the nukes. And when, discussing that and showing what's going to happen, it shows like all this stuff, all the famous things getting blown up, like I think probably the Statue of Liberty or buildings or something, and the Eiffel Tower, stuff like that. And of course, I wrote the note down, London Bridge is falling down because we saw it get evaporated by nukes. I wrote here as well that Ethan Hunt and the entity are mirror images of each other, unyielding, relentless, uncontrollable, unstoppable forces. It is interesting. Like, it's an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. They did a good job with that. This doesn't feel like, well, it's just another Mission Impossible movie. This is like the natural progression of where these movies are leading. And it does really feel like Ethan Hunt must have met his match by now, There was a weird, like, little plot hole thing where, there's two different subplots where one's on one side, one group of people are on one side, Ethan's on the other side. And they're like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look for a signal coming from your friends in 15 minutes and then every 2 hours. And that first 15 minutes goes by. And then that first 2 hours go by. But the other side, the other group of people going on over here, they are being taken by people, by bad guys. And they're like, here's the deal. You have 1 hour to build us a disc reader. And it hasn't been an hour yet, I guess, or else they'd be dead. I don't know, maybe they stalled or something, but it feels like it's been 30 minutes for these people, but it's been like 2.5 hours for these people. So what's going on? It feels disjointed and out of place. There's a great moment in this movie where a 60-year-old man yells at another person, you're spending too much time on the internet.
You spent too much time on the internet!
Which made me laugh out loud in the theater. I thought that was pretty funny. Ethan Hunt gives Haley Atwell's character, Grace, I think is her name, one job. Tells her to do one thing, and it is stay off the ice. And she says, what ice? What do you mean? And he's like, just all of it. Just stay off of any ice. Don't go on the ice. Because he sees, the entity says to him, don't do this, or these bombs under the ice of this place where it is are going to blow up. And your friends are going to be up on top of the ice. So he tells her to stay off the ice. But then later, she's waiting for him. She's literally on the ice. The decompression chamber that she brings is just literally on the ice. There's a nice little piece of fan service in this where the dude from the first movie, the most famous scene in all the Mission Impossible films is in the first one when Tom Cruise descends into this room and he's like, whoa, and like the sweat drips from his face and he catches it or whatever. And then he starts to go up and Jean Reno's knife falls out and it lands doing right on the desk. That guy who comes in and finds the knife is in this movie. And he still has the knife, and he hands it to him. He's like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me, because, like, I lost my job, but, I met my wife, and I have this, like, wonderful, relaxing job now where I just, like, hang out up here, and, I owe you everything, blah, blah, blah. It's a nice little piece of fan service that they had the knife or whatever. I'm sure it's a replica, but, it's cool. Oh, and I wrote here, that guy with the knife, is Bill Dunlow younger than Tom Cruise? Because he looks about 10 years older, but I bet he's younger than him. So I'm gonna look that up right now. Bill Dunlow, actor. Yeah, William Dunlow. What's that actor's name? Rolf Saxon. Rolf Saxon, age. Interesting. About 70 years. I guess we don't know how old that guy is. So yeah, he's 10 years older than Tom Cruise. That's interesting. Because he looks 10 years older than Tom Cruise in this, but they both look 20 years younger than they are. It says that according to this, he was born in 1955. He looks like he's probably 55 years old. And Tom Cruise looks like he's like 45, 50 years old. It's crazy, dude. So here's a thought I had. They do all this to get rid of the entity. They're working real hard to get rid of it. What's to stop them from making another entity? Someone's gonna do it, right? All of the whole point of this is that every government wants this thing. They want to be able to control it. So what's to stop them from just making a new one? They want to control it, just make a new one and then control that one. I don't know. It seems kind of strange to me. Like, it's not really how technology works. If I find out that a supercomputer was built and I go out and I break that supercomputer with a fucking hammer, it's gonna be another one in like a year. You know? And then at the end, they've got the entity in this little glowy hard drive thing, and it's just like in a case. They have this like very intense case, and they said it's a very delicate hard drive thingy, so you have to be careful with it. I wrote here, I don't understand. Just fucking throw it on the ground. Fucking throw it on the ground and step on it a bunch. Hold it under the water in the bathtub. Why are we keeping this thing around? The whole point was to destroy it. You didn't destroy it. You cut and pasted it onto a different hard drive. Ethan makes a whole big deal out of no one should be allowed to have this thing. No one should be allowed to control it. I'm gonna destroy it. And then he doesn't. He just has it. So destroy it, motherfucker. Put your money where your mouth is. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, we did it, everybody. Mission accomplished. Impossible mission accomplished. We helped a senior citizen install antivirus software. Great. So yeah, final thoughts on this movie. It's fine. I think it's perfectly fine. I don't think it's one of the better ones. It's definitely not better than the third one. I don't think it's better than Fallout. I don't think it's better than the first one. So it's right there in the middle. I don't know. It's fine. It's probably the next one, the next best one. See, this gets difficult. Dead Reckoning is about the same as this, but it's also one big movie. So like, I'm not super sure how to rank those because it's one 5-hour-long movie. First of all, this one 5-hour-long movie didn't need to be 5 hours long. This could have been a 3-hour-long film. I mean, it was a 3-hour-long film, but I mean, those two movies could have been cut down to 3 hours total. So I don't know. It was good, I guess. Good, not great. Final thoughts on the series. If you have been following along, you will note that I assumed that each movie would introduce a new female love interest and then, you know, she'd just be gone by the next movie. They didn't do that with the women. The women were largely, there was a thread. Like, they didn't just forget that these characters existed. They are there. They continue to be there, either with Ilsa, Rebecca Ferguson's character, or Grace, Haley Atwell's, or the White Widow, played by Vanessa Kirby. And, you know, that's the characters that are literally there. But then there's also characters that aren't necessarily literally there, though they show up sometimes occasionally, like Julia, his ex-wife, who is, it's very, like, her presence is there, even if she's not, you know? They do a good job with that. Who they don't do a good job with, and I was not expecting this, is the men in power. I mean, there's a lot of dudes who just sort of disappear. Like, what the fuck happened to Lawrence Fishburne? He was the head of the IMF, and then he just wasn't. Where's Jeremy Renner? He just disappeared. You know, there's a bunch of characters who just aren't there anymore. Where'd they go? Who knows? Don't ask about it. But not the women. They did a good job with that. Oh, I was going to see if this passes the Bechdel test. I want to see if any of Mission Impossible passes the Bechdel test. Let's find out. So yeah, according to this, according to Google AI, take that with a grain of fucking salt, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 finally passed the Bechdel test by including a scene where two female characters, Grace and Alana, have a meaningful conversation about Alana's business without a man present. Oh, maybe that's what it was. Oh yeah, okay, so a man can't be there is the idea. This marks a significant shift in how the franchise has addressed the representation of women, as previous installments struggled to meet even these basic criteria. So there you go. They did it. Good job. Congrats. They did this very easy and common thing that most movies can do without any struggle at all. And yeah, beyond that, I think the movies are mostly good. Only one of them is like bad. The second one, I fell asleep. It was hard to get through. But the rest of them are pretty good, I think. I think they're all worth watching. Most of them, I think there's only one that isn't on Prime or Hulu. I don't remember which one it is. But most of them are on Prime or Hulu. So give them a watch if you haven't. They're good. They're good. They're perfectly fine movies. And third one's real good. And you don't have to watch the first two to watch the third one. If you haven't seen the third one, just watch the third one. It's great. And then if you like that, well, I was going to say then you can decide whether or not to watch all of it. But they only get worse. They're only worse than that one. None of them are better than the third one. It's really, really good. And this movie is perfectly fine. So, yay! Anyway, thanks for watching my review of Mission Impossible 8 Final Reckoning. Maybe this is the last one they're gonna do. Probably not, but it could be. And extra special thanks if you watched all of my video reviews on the Mission Impossible movies. I've spent the last week doing nothing but watching these movies. That's not true, obviously. I did other things, but like it felt like that's what I've been doing. I've been struggling to find the time to watch so many movies. So I appreciate you checking out my reviews of this franchise. Definitely hit the subscribe button below if you want to see other videos that we have coming out. I don't know what we're going to do next, but there'll be something eventually. And also, if you want to hear more thoughts on Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, check out the Media Lunch Break podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to review that. I think by the time this video goes out, it's already out. So if you want to hear what me and my co-host Chris have to say about it beyond what I just talked about here, check out that podcast episode and enjoy. And beyond that, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on whatever the next video is. Cool. See ya.